Good morning, everyone. I'm Annie So. I'm the lead Outreachy organizer. I've been doing this for 7 years. And I'm super happy to be here to share with you the legacy of Outreachy, how we do this together. Outreachy is the Software Freedom Conservancy initiative, and Outreachy is a collective effort not only of the amazing team that I manage and lead for program organizers, Karen Sandler, Sage Sharp, Umotolo Motayo, and Childo Dufu, but also the efforts of many volunteers and communities and the free software community at large. For today's talk, what's out of scope is the program history. If you want to know more about the program history, please watch the joint FOSDEM 2024 keynote, Outreachy 1,000 Interns. You can also watch Marina's wonderful talk about the Outreach program for women, a previous iteration of the program. And some of the program details will be out of the scope as well, such as more details about the initial applications, or details about guidelines for mentoring communities, or the website development as well. I have a couple of talks and live streams that you can watch for more details on that. To start, I want to reconcile a couple of views of Outreachy. The prominent view of Outreachy, the prominent external view, is that we are a program that increases diversity in FOSS. We offer 3-month internships, such as Google Summer of Code, and we pay a $7,000 stipend, regardless of where people live. And our internal view of Outreachy is that we run 2 cohorts a year, and we run them in parallel, and we support thousands of people every year. We welcome an average of 30 mentoring organizations, 150 mentors, 60 coordinators, 5,000 applicants, and 80 interns per year. And what constitutes a program cycle for Outreachy? It's a month of preparation. We have to determine the cohort dates, and for the May/June cohort, it's especially important to align with Google Summer of Code dates to allow our community to participate in both. We have to reach out to volunteers, communities, and sponsors. We have 3 months of what I'm going to call a public high-traffic process. Those are the processes that we have the most point of contact with the overall community. So call for communities and projects, initial applications, the contribution period, the final applications, and the intern selections. And we have 3 to 4 months of internships, including possible extensions. I'll talk more about that later. From the point of view of an applicant, they go through the initial application period where they will answer essay and eligibility questions. If their application is approved, they will pick communities and submit and record contributions. In the final application, they will create a project timeline. They may answer community-specific questions or follow community-specific procedures. And during the internship period, they will sign an intern agreement. They'll submit tax forms and payment information. They will finally work with their mentors, coordinators, and their community. They will submit feedback about their mentors and about their progress 4 times. They will write 6 blog posts, and they will participate in 7 intern chats. From the point of view of a participating community, they will come in during the call for participation. They will find sponsorship leads. Communities are required to have at least 1 sponsorship lead of $8,000 unless they have requested help from the Outreachy General Fund. They may assess their mentorship capacity to see if they will be able to mentor any interns. They will submit project proposals. They will participate in the contribution period, interacting with applicants and reviewing and approving their contributions. And they will evaluate final applications and rank applicants during the intern selection. During the internship period, they will sign a mentor agreement. They will guide and support our interns. They will keep track of our interns' public work. They will submit feedback about our interns 4 times. They will participate in intern chats 6 times, more of that later. And they will authorize 2 stipend payments. From our perspective, we will review initial applications during the call for initial applications, and we review them manually. We have picked at almost 7,000 applications in a single cohort, and as you can imagine, it's impossible to review them all since we do that manually, so we do it in a first come, first served basis. We do the call for participation where we vet new communities according to alignment with the program, and we reach out to past communities to invite them back. We review projects during the call for projects. We see if they have enough beginner-friendly tasks, if the documentation is in place, is enough for the interns, for the applicants to be able to participate in their communities. During the contribution period, we usually follow up with sponsorship leads provided by our communities. During the intern selection, we review and mediate selections. That's because sometimes an applicant is so outstanding, multiple communities will select them, and we have to ensure that each community has an intern they love. And for the internship period, we handle intern and mentor agreements. We monitor and check in with interns, mentors, and coordinators continuously. We mediate issues and conflicts. We process internship extensions. We mediate biweekly assignments, 7 of them. We facilitate 7 intern chats. We review all feedback submissions. And we handle stipend payment authorizations, usually in batches. But what makes Outreachy so special? Well, the first ingredient is a systemic approach. It starts by talking about the core of our mission, the people we serve. Outreachy provides internships to people subject to systemic bias and impacted by underrepresentation in the technical industry where they're living. I want you to pay attention to the expression systemic bias and underrepresentation. Those are the core values. Because our lives are complex, marginalization intersects and interweaves in many different ways. We focus on the structural manifestations of marginalization, the impact on our applicants' lives. Our definition now is not anchored in a specific criteria of gender or race, but it is encompassing of the complexity of the world we live in. Outreach internship projects also include more than just programming, because open source is also complex. FOSS is much more than just programming, so we train software engineers and architects, designers, community managers, security researchers, technical writers, scientists, and much, much more. The second ingredient is a structured introduction to free software. We have a built-in exposition to free software during the contribution period with beginner-friendly tasks. Recording a contribution is mandatory to move forward to the final application, and we focus on collaboration, not competition. Applicants are encouraged to help each other. We also offer thematic biweekly assignments for mentors and interns, and intern chats with interns, mentors, coordinators, and our alums. We talk about working remotely and in the open, the struggles and fear of failure, which is the intern chat where mentors and coordinators don't participate. We want our interns to feel comfortable talking about their struggles. Open source conferences such as FOSS Backstage, careers in open source, informal chats with industry peers, and the continuation of their journey in open source. We help them go through a paradigm shift from passive usage of FOSS to becoming an active agent of change within FOSS. The third ingredient is a human-centered design. We strive for personal growth over project completion. Our mentors have heard us say that Outreachy is more like a fellowship several times. We promote it as an internship program, however, because it's important for people to know that if there are newcomers, they can give it a try. We facilitate success. We consider full-time effort as putting in 30 hours a week. All internships have a built-in 1-week buffer. Interns are only required to work 12 out of the 13 weeks of the internship, especially helpful for the December cohort folks because of holiday breaks. We can arrange internship extensions of up to 5 weeks, and they are to be used in the occurrence of emergencies or other life circumstances. We do not extend internships for the sole purpose of completing an internship project. The fourth ingredient is a high-touch philosophy. We always monitor and mediate our internships. Mentors and interns go through 4 cycles of evaluation, informally known as feedback 1, 2, 3, and 4, and organize and mediate and facilitate conversations with and between mentors and mentees when issues arise. The signs of trouble we have identified throughout the years are missing meetings or established points of contact, no opportunities for private one-on-one communications with the mentor or intern, no opening to share struggles and work together towards a solution, no interest in introducing the intern to other community members, or no interest in talking about career development or goals. And when does an internship fail? When interns are treated as mere independent contractors and they do not have the opportunity to learn and grow. When we see a dramatic and significant decrease in communications between the intern and mentors, or when we notice a frequent and combative refusal to listen and incorporate feedback, and we do our best to make sure that the internships do not fail, we always interfere when we notice the signs of trouble. The fifth ingredient is a deep meta-understanding of the FOSS ecosystem. We have 15 plus years of experience in supporting FOSS communities, and we facilitate structural changes in the onboarding of new community members. We have developed a deep meta-understanding of what a good mentorship entails, and we know that a good mentorship initiative welcomes the perspective of newcomers and will recognize that not everything may seem obvious from the start. It transforms one's restricted communal knowledge into something that is tangible, trackable, and shareable. It creates and maintains and promotes opportunities for growth, including a path to mentorship and leadership. And we are laying the groundwork to create an open mentorship initiative where we will document open mentorship practices across FOSS communities. We will create an open mentorship book. We will help communities become Outreachy ready, and we will mentor mentors. We'll have the first discussion of this at DISCON Conference 2025, so stay tuned, and if you want to be a part of it, let's talk later. We truly love what we do, and all program organizers have mentored someone or have been mentored in Outreachy or similar programs. I am an Outreachy alum myself. I worked with the Wikimedia community in 2017. I am a Mozilla Open Leaders alum of Google Sense of Docs and of the Infused Cybersecurity Fellowship. We believe that everyone should have an opportunity to actively participate in the development of FOSS, regardless of their background. I want to talk now about something that is not, very comfortable, which is our constraints, the things that limit us. The first constraint here is mentor capacity, because mentors may be laid off, they may burn out, change companies, focus, or careers. Mentors may not have the capacity to mentor prospect mentors, and mentoring communities may struggle to find successors. Another constraint is currently program funding. We're struggling to find funding for our core activities. Our ability to fund the participation of mentoring communities through our Outreachy General Fund has decreased. And our ongoing struggle to find funding is a serious threat to our program. It's an existential threat. If you'd like more insight on our funding situation, you can read our blog post about us needing your help, and I'm happy to talk about it later too. And talking about the elephant in the room, the theme that has been going on at FOSS Backstage 2025, the hostility towards programs like ours, especially in the United States, is on the rise. But now I want to talk about a ceiling, or I want to make a provocation. I keep hearing talks about the growing open source community and how FOSS struggles to engage with us, younger generations, to take on the work of those who came before us? Well, Outreachy brings incredible young people to FOSS every year, but is FOSS supporting the permanence of my generation? Where is the path to help us climb to leadership and/or mentorship? 80% of our Outreachy alumni continue to be involved with open source after the internship at some capacity, paid or volunteer. Outreachy interns are absolutely everywhere. They are here in front of you, in the audience, in the hallways in Berlin, and in many, many countries. Those are photos of our 1,000 intern celebration. Outreachy is a hidden dependency of the free software ecosystem. And Outreachy is living proof that the global majority and younger generations are very enthusiastic about FOSS. Otherwise, we wouldn't see thousands of applications every cohort. But free software culture is still homogeneous and global north-centered. How much of this perceived lack of younger contributors isn't a rejection of diversity? How much of the perceived lack of younger contributors isn't a reflection of structural failures within FOSS? The places that are too distant to reach, the visas that were denied, the required funds we can't spend, the recognition we can't get, even though we deserve this recognition. The new generation of FOSS leaders, contributors, and activists is already here. Outreachy has trained us. FOSS communities need to stop reaching for mirrors. They need to stop looking for copies of themselves. They need to bring us letters, and they need to make room. Please help us continue our phenomenal work. If you want to sponsor Outreachy, that would be fantastic. And also spread the word about Outreachy. You can follow Outreachy through our website or in the Fediverse. And I would love to continue this conversation with you all. Please talk to me in the hallways or in the Fediverse, or if you are old-fashioned, please send me an email at anna@outreachy.org. Thank you very much.
First of all, thanks for the talk. You mentioned you would mentor the mentors. How is this going to work?
We are sitting on fantastic data from multiple cohorts on how mentors have interacted with communities, with their interns, and how they have progressed through the internship. So our plan is to have an alliance with other mentorship programs, such as our OpenSite Champions. And we are going to create a structure of how mentorship works with across all communities. And we are going to transform that into a handbook, but also training material, so we can go to each and every community and we can approach them and say, hey, are you struggling to structure a mentorship program within your community? We can help. So we would do literal classes of how to mentor people and how to ensure that new contributors can be engaging with the communities for the longest time, as long as possible. So that's the main idea. So an open mentorship handbook, which will be of free access and will be of unrestricted access, but also those literal classes of how to mentor mentors and how to structure mentorship programs within communities.
Thank you for the talk. Do you mind going into sort of hard numbers? How many interns will you have in the current cohort, which is running now, and how much funding do you have left? Can you fund this cohort? Can you fund the next cohort? Where does the problem start?
We have 26 interns in the December 2024 cohort, and we are projecting 24 to 28 interns for the June 2025 cohort. Our biggest trouble right now is ensuring the continuation of our core team. And to ensure the continuation of our core team, I would ask for $350K to help us pay salaries and other things to ensure that the core team can continue working on the program. As you could see, it's a very high-touch program. It's an intensive work program. We are constantly in touch with our mentors, interns, our coordinators, and we have to be very careful to also safeguard the people we are helping join FOSS. So it requires not only a lot of hours, but a lot of emotional labor, and we want to ensure that our core members are fairly compensated, and we can also compensate our volunteers in many different ways.
And the currency is US dollars?
Yes.
So the question was, just to repeat, the currency is US dollars.
Thank you for your talk. Maybe can you try to summarize in a few sentences on what's in it for an open source community? Why should they apply to get interns?
This is the most structured way you will find to ensure that newcomers will not only engage with your community, but they will stay with your community. Because we are not only doing a program where they can find opportunities in IT or in technology as a whole, we are teaching them the inner workings of FOSS, and we are making sure they become FOSS members, which is why we have such a high number of Outreachy alums who are now going to leadership positions in communities and continue to make changes within communities. I think this is the biggest undertaking of all and the biggest success of Outreachy, the fact that not only are interns engaged with FOSS, they do not leave it when the program ends. They continue this relationship with FOSS, and we're effectively guaranteeing a new generation of contributors.
And maybe I can add something to that, if you allow me, because I'm a mentor, a former mentor of Outreachy in Apache Airflow and Apache Software Foundation. So we had like five mentees. One of them is now PMC member in Apache Airflow. One of them gave a fantastic talk at the Community Over Code conference of Apache Software Foundation, how the Outreachy changed her life and allowed her to support her family. But she's also now in UK after applying to Talent Visa. She moved from Peru, and she's a developer advocate at Percona and doing fantastic job there in the community to spread the word about the open source. So it works. I can confirm that.
Thank you so much for the kind words.
Any more questions?
Hi, thank you so much for the talk and also all the work, and that you make it so transparent and clear that it's not just, throwing people into a box and matching them with communities. That it's I can't imagine creating this. Obviously. But my question is, I know you're probably in touch with a lot of communities, but also a lot of companies who are industry partners. Can you share just your sense of how they're feeling and how maybe, I'm sure they would love to continue working with you, sort of what is the sentiment in the private sector at the moment regarding programs like Outreachy? Are they trying to find ways to continue to work with you?
Some of our big sponsors are trying to find ways, but I have to admit that some of them are afraid of being targeted by the Department of Justice in the United States, and some of them have, our conversations have turned cold because of that. Medium to small-sized companies, they are still very open to talking to us, and they are still supporting us. But it's the significant sponsors from bigger companies who are starting to disappear, afraid of retaliation. And that's unfortunately a part of the hostility we have been feeling since the Trump administration took office.
It's very sad to hear. I guess the fear is contagious. I was also a former Outreachy mentee, and I have some questions about some of the struggles you may have faced over the years incorporating new structure for mentorship, given that mentors continue to have a really hard time finding the time and the energy But actually, I think I would rather ask if you might have noticed any patterns over the years, any successful patterns for communities and mentors who are able to secure the funding or return year over year, as an example to people who want to participate.
Communities who have foundations. So let's say, for example, the Wikimedia community with the Wikimedia Foundation. They are a long-standing participant of Outreachy. They've been with us since the very beginning of Outreachy. So they, I don't think there was a single cohort that they have skipped. Firefox is also a long-standing one, although they have skipped a couple of cohorts. We also have GNOME. Outreachy was born within GNOME Foundation, and they are also a long-standing partner of ours. And usually, what I see is if a community is very close to specific companies, let's say, for example, Servo with Gallia, or if they are very close to specific foundations, like the Wikimedia Foundation is very close to the Wikimedia community, it serves the Wikimedia community. That's usually what guarantees long-standing participation of those communities. Now, as for mentorship itself, I have done interviews with a couple of mentors, and their main motivators for mentoring is that sometimes a life-changing event has happened in their lives, and they realize the amount of privilege they carry, and they see that they have to help other people, and they see in Outreachy this opportunity to scale that help in many ways, so they can reach as many people as possible, and they are able to help those people come into FOSS and come into technology. But also there are people like me who I had my life completely changed by Outreachy as an Outreachy alum, and I felt so grateful for this opportunity, and this is something that happens with a lot of mentors of ours. A lot of mentors are Outreachy alums, and we feel like we need to continue this chain of solidarity and this chain of support. So we come back to the program in many capacities. Childo Dufu is also an Outreachy alum. She was a coordinator and a mentor as well. She is probably the person with the most perspectives of Outreachy. And we continue to mentor the people who come in after us, because we feel this necessity of keep helping people join FOSS, because we know the good FOSS does in the world, and we know the changes and the impact Outreachy has had in our lives. So we are posed in this position to continue making that change and ensuring that people can still have the same opportunities. And I'll add, I want my Outreachy interns and alums to become better professionals and go even further than I did. I want them to succeed even more than I have done, because I want to see them shine, and I know how competent and talented and hardworking they are. Those are the things that keep us coming back to the program and makes us want to preserve the program the way it is, and also keep improving, which is very important. Every cohort, we improve the program in many ways.
Thank you very much. We don't have much more time for questions, but I would say help to keep Outreachy going, because this is a fantastic initiative, and I experienced as a mentor, like the amount of help I got from the Outreachy team to mentor my mentees was amazing. I've run a few mentorship programs, and Outreachy was hands down the best. Thank you for that. Thank you for what you're doing.